You're watching Utah's #1 news station. This is 2 News at 5.
It's just very moving to me to see all the love that is being given to Officer Frankham.
Thousands of people from Utah and around the country flooding into the streets of Ogden today to honor fallen officer Jared Frankham, who was killed during a shootout 1 week ago today. Thanks for tuning in to 2 News at 5 o'clock, a massive and emotional outpouring of support for that fallen hero today.
Officer Jared Frankham was shot and killed while serving a warrant last Wednesday. Today, exactly 1 week from the day he was killed, he is laid to rest. Family, friends, comrades-in-law, enforcement, and complete strangers turned out to say goodbye and to honor a man killed in the line of duty.
We have some team coverage for you tonight of this emotional story. Dan Rascombe was at the memorial service and also at graveside. Amy Ney was along the procession route today, and we're going to start with Dan. Dan, what can you say about such an amazing outpouring of love and affection for this man that a lot of people out there on the streets did not even know?
Yeah, that's right, Mark and Shauna. Boy, just an incredible scene out here, especially as you traveled from the D Event Center where it all started to the cemetery here. Here at the cemetery, again, hundreds of people, thousands of people came out to be able to pay their respects for Jared Frankham.
Very, very fine officer and a good friend. He's here in spirit. We've never lost him. We won't lose him. He's with us till we meet again.
It's a brotherhood. My brother was my best friend. He was a hero to me long before this ever happened. He's very strong-willed and very strong person altogether.
An emotional and humbling scene at the Ogden City Cemetery as 30-year-old Jared Frankham is remembered. Just 7 years into his career as a police officer with Ogden City when he was suddenly gunned down a week ago today. 3 of the 5 officers injured in the gun battle also came to pay their respects. Officer Sean Grogan, who was shot in the face, showed up in an ambulance. His father told me he was one of the first ones hit. Sergeant Nate Hutchinson was in a wheelchair and stood to help touch and lift the casket. And Officer Jason Vanderwolf, who works undercover, was shot in the hip. He spoke to us without showing his face.
You know, just like everything else, it's sad. It's a huge day of loss, sorrow. But you know, at the same time, this is a time for us to now start, you know, rebuilding and coming together and honor him. And
the funeral took place here inside the D Event Center, where thousands of officers came from all over to pay their respects. Cameras were not allowed during the actual service, but Jared's 3 younger brothers spoke, talking about his love for his job, love for his family, and his life. He says this. How do you want him to be remembered?
As a hero, definitely. As a hero, not only to this community or my family, but to a lot of people throughout this nation.
Now, Jared Frankham has been laid to rest here at the Ogden City Cemetery. Again, thousands of people came out to pay their respects. As for the suspect of the shooting, he still remains in the hospital at this time. The district attorney saying that he plans to file charges and seek the death penalty, and he will be charged with attempted or aggravated murder and 8 counts of attempted murder. Mark and Shauna, back to you.
All right, Dan, thanks so much. At one point, the procession of police cars stretched from the D Event Center to the Ogden City Cemetery, a 7-mile route.
Along that route, throngs of people from Ogden and surrounding areas lined the streets to honor their fallen hero as he passed by.
Amy Ney is live now in Ogden. Quite a show of support today, Amy.
Oh, it really was. You mentioned those police cars. I stopped counting at 5 or 6 dozen, which came along the procession. It was quite a moving scene. In fact, right here along Washington Boulevard and 25th Street, in that corner there, giant ladder trucks were set up with a massive American flag draped above the procession. It was a patriotic scene, red, white, and blue lights flashing, and of course the 5,000 flags which line this procession route, and many more flags in those who came to pay tribute to fallen officer Jared Frankham.
But it is an amazing event, it really is. Even Vietnam-era veteran Ron Hendricks choking up as he stood along Harrison Avenue in Ogden Wednesday and watched the procession for Officer Jared Frankham go by.
But to have one of your own right here in town, it's been a little difficult.
His wife, Julie, trying to do her part to help.
And we not only want to send the family and the officers our love, but we want the world to know you don't shoot officers in our city.
Tears were shed as the procession went by, thousands lining the route in a show of solidarity and support.
I think it's affected everybody, and those who knew the officers and didn't. It's been real hard, and we're just glad to see all the support from the community and from all around to come out and pay their respects.
It's just very moving to me to see all the love that is being given to Officer Frankham.
When you saw that, procession come down the street, it just kind of, made a big knot in your stomach.
Students from Mount Ogden Junior High came out as the procession went by to show their respect. And kids both at school and with their parents all learned a lesson this afternoon.
They helped us a lot, and it just felt really good that we were here.
Even up here, 14 stories above the ground, and one of the tallest buildings in Ogden, you can still feel the somber mood down on the street. We're nearly 2 hours after the procession has started, and still it continues through downtown Ogden.
And that procession finally went back by, we're back here on Washington Boulevard, down on the street level. It finally went by a couple hours ago, and things are starting to get back to normal. Traffic is starting to return to normal again here. But everybody who came along the procession today and spent part of their afternoon paying their respects, I believe, will take a part of that with them as they go on about their business. It was quite a moving event indeed. Mark and Shauna.
Sounds like it. Amy, thanks.
All the love and appreciation that went out there today was the family actually put a small message on the back of the program today, thanking everybody for their expressions of sympathy and kindness that were extended during their bereavement and loss. So, there are so many people to thank. They couldn't thank everybody personally, but they did thank them in a little message on the back of the program there from the services today. So.
One of the people who showed up to give his condolences was Utah Governor Gary Herbert. He was at the services today. He was there to pay his respects and to honor Officer Frankham for his ultimate sacrifice.
Well, it's a sad and humbling occasion. It's something that is a stark reminder of the challenges that our people in law enforcement and public safety face each and every day. We take it for granted. We know that they go out there to protect the streets for us, and they do it not knowing what's around the next corner. Sometimes tragedy lurks there, and we've seen that exhibited here with this particular instance with Agent Frankham. So we as a state ought to be very grateful for what they do.
Some of the officers that were injured in the shootout a week ago today attended the services. Those still in the hospital watched it via iPad. Hospital officials say officers Casey Burrell and Michael Ronkels are listed in fair condition. Officer Grogan was released from the hospital this morning. 2 other strike force members, Weber County Sheriff Sergeant Nate Hutchinson and Roy Police Officer Jason Vanderwoord, were released earlier.
In other news today, immigration reform. His last controversial immigration measure is now under court challenge. State
Representative Steven Sandstrom says he will have a new immigration proposal that he will release at the state capitol.
Brian Malahy in our newsroom now. What's in it this time, Brian?
Well, Representative Sandstrom would not elaborate greatly today, Mark and Shauna, but told me the plan will hit on touchy subjects of guest workers and the E-Verify program. Word of this comes as a Salt Lake meeting is set to begin, sponsored by Catholic bishops in the country who say the feds, not the states, should set immigration law.
USA! USA!
The Utah rallies have cooled, but debate over immigration reform may heat up once again. Representative Steven Sandstrom, immigration bill author, candidate for Congress, told me Wednesday, "I think you're going to be surprised at what I want to do. I think it will end up being a national solution." The Utah law Sandstrom sponsored, requiring police to check on legal status of those arrested for serious crimes, is on hold, challenged by the U.S. Justice Department.
This is not the bailiwick of state government.
Catholic nun and lawyer Lynn McKenzie in Salt Lake for a gathering sponsored by Catholic bishops to talk immigration policy. She's a partner in an Alabama law firm.
Because it's not fair.
And an attorney fighting Alabama's tough, controversial anti-immigration law that went much further than Utah.
I mean, I think it's terrible. I don't think it's been good for the business climate in our state.
One of the things we've lost in Alabama in the way the debate was conducted, the hostility of the rhetoric that went with the provisions, was we lost the human being.
Representative Sandstrom says he was asked to attend this conference in Salt Lake, but that he had other commitments. His new proposal is expected next week. Mark Shauna, back to you.
All right, Brian, thanks.
Well, you've heard of Malibu Barbie and Holiday Barbie, but what about Cancer Barbie? A Facebook movement is underway as parents of young cancer victims ask Mattel to create Cancer Barbie. We'll tell you about this new online movement that's picking up steam.
A group dedicated to highway and auto safety releases its annual report card today, grading all 50 states. How did Utah fare? We've got the numbers for you coming up.
And today was a beautiful day across the state. We just had a few high clouds out there behind that cold front that moved through last night. Temperatures were chilly today behind that cold front, but no haze. Good air quality. How long can it last, though? I'll let you know coming up in the Fresh Air Forecast next.
A teen driver hopes his story might help convince lawmakers to pass some tougher highway safety laws. He spoke in Washington as advocates for highway safety met to discuss 15 basic traffic safety laws. 17-year-old Joe Polakowicz had only been driving for about 2 months when he lost control and drove off a country road.
Although I don't remember the crash or the first few months of being in the hospital, I just know how lucky I am to be here today.
Joe slammed into a tree in 2010, suffering a brain injury, a broken back, a broken pelvis, and ribs.
It's been horrible going through what I've been through. And
he's now working with the advocates for highway and auto safety, fighting to get tougher safety laws for the road. The group is calling on states to pass 15 laws covering everything from seat belts, booster seats, and motorcycle helmet rules, to restrictions on teen drivers and even texting behind the wheel. Every year, about 33,000 people die in crashes across the U.S., and over 2 million more are injured. Advocates say putting tougher safety laws in place will make a difference.
We know that this will save lives and save the state's money, and we'd like to see them be more aggressive and serious about getting the job done.
Joe says tougher laws, including increasing the driving age to 18, might have saved him a lot of heartache and pain.
if I had one wish, it'd be to go back to the day before my wreck.
And that's why he's lobbying lawmakers to force drivers to play it safe. That group grades states on safety laws. Right now, Utah ranks about in the middle of the 50 states when it comes to safety. And of the 15 laws I talked about today, Utah does comply with about 8 of them. If you'd like a complete list, you can log on to www.saferoads.org. That's saferoads.org.
Everybody wants to fit in, especially when you're little and you're trying to grow up. And for a young girl who has to wear a scarf on her head because she's lost all of her hair to cancer, fitting in can be a tough sell. But there's a new push to create a special Barbie doll to show kids and grown-ups alike that bald is beautiful.
Kaylee Ryder and her mom Rachel make a visit to Texas Tech Pediatrics every Tuesday afternoon.
I get a shot in my port. Kaylee has Wilms tumor. It's a kidney cancer that has progressed into her lungs.
Now that she's battling cancer for the second time, this 7-year-old has endured more than most adults can even imagine. But there's one part of her fight that really bothers her.
We had to tell her that it had come back. The first thing she asked if she was going to lose her hair.
I didn't want to lose my hair again.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out like she was hoping. So to send a positive message to little girls just like Kaylee, a new online movement is pushing Mattel to come out with a cancer Barbie, something her mom is on board with 110%.
Lets kids know that it's okay to be bald and you're beautiful even though you don't have any hair. I think it's a wonderful idea.
And many cancer specialists couldn't agree more.
You're more than just your hair. And yeah, your hair can be important, but when you don't have hair, then to relate with something else and be able to love on it and play with it, that, hey, look, it's just like me. And I think that would be awesome.
And I think that's very important, that they don't feel that different when they have a doll and they can identify with.
As for Kaylee's thoughts, well, her smile says it all.
Awesome.
You can help join in the push for a cancer Barbie by going to the campaign's Facebook page at facebook.com/beautiful and bald Barbie. And I love that idea. I'm going to put it on my Facebook page, too, in case you didn't get a chance to write that down. And hopefully there's a link and you can go right to it.
I hope Mattel's listening. I think that'd be a great idea. A lot of little girls would love to see that. All right. Did you say 17 degrees tonight for that?
Yeah, it's going to be a chilly night tonight. We've got these clear skies, and of course, when you don't have a whole lot of cloud cover, it's very easy to see your temperatures drop this time of year. So yeah, teens and single digits for much of the state, and we'll get to that in just a second. Let's start with a time lapse from today in Bluffdale. We did start out with a few clouds thanks to that cold front that moved through last night, but throughout the afternoon, we really cleared out. Just saw a few high clouds from time to time. The sun now beginning to set. Beautiful evening, but it's going to be a chilly one out there. Here's a look at our high temperatures today. Behind the cold front, temperatures are much colder than they have been. 35 in Lewiston today. Sandy got up to 32, Orem 36, Vernal at 36 as well, Monument Valley 46, and still really nice and pleasant down to where Mesquite, 62 degrees for the high temperature this afternoon. Current temperatures outside right now, still looking pretty good. We haven't dropped that far. 30 in Salt Lake City, 27 Logan, 29 in Vernal, and 32 degrees in Price. But as I just mentioned, with these clear skies, temperatures will really drop later tonight. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. There's the cold front that moved through Utah yesterday. Didn't give us hardly any snow, a few flurries here and there. It's now pushed off into the Great Plains region. We have a ridge of high pressure which is building in behind it. And also toward the end of this loop, I want you to notice this. See this little cloud cover moving across the Pacific Northwest? That is a weak little disturbance. That thing's going to push across northern Utah tomorrow, basically just clipping us. You can see here by the future track that it is really not going to affect our forecast a whole lot. It may give us a few high clouds in the afternoon hours, but really it's very weak, not going to affect us at all. This ridge of high pressure is just going to dominate our weather pattern going into the weekend, and that means, unfortunately, the haze may return as we head toward tomorrow, and especially Friday and the weekend. Right now we're in the green thanks to that cold front that moved through last night, but I'm assuming that many of these counties along the Wasatch Front will become yellow and possibly even red as we head toward the end of the week. Temperatures for tonight and tomorrow are chilly, a few degrees below average, especially for these overnight lows. Single digits in the Uinta Basin tonight with daytime highs only in the 20s. East Central Utah will see teens tonight with afternoon highs in the 40s for many locations. 36 Monticello tomorrow, 52 in St. George with 40 in Cedar City. And look at the overnight low in Cedar City, dropping down to 8 degrees, so a chilly one for you. Same situation for West Central Utah. We're talking teens here along the Wasatch Front with daytime highs tomorrow right around the freezing point, pretty close to where we were today. 25 in Laketown, 26 in Woodruff after a very chilly overnight low of 4 below zero. Two-day forecast for Dixie. Sunshine, 53 tomorrow, not too bad. 52 on Friday. Heading into the weekend, you keep the sunshine for Saturday. Few extra clouds on Sunday as another storm system moves through the state. That one looking pretty weak as well. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, mostly sunny to sunny skies and high temperatures remaining in the 50s down south. Salt Lake City tonight, there's that 17-degree overnight low with partly cloudy conditions. Tomorrow, partly cloudy. That haze will begin to build once again, but it starts to get thick as we head toward Friday and Saturday, I'm afraid. Increasing clouds on Sunday. That's ahead of a weak disturbance that comes in Sunday night and Monday. We're hoping that that disturbance will be strong enough to clean the air out, maybe give us a few little isolated showers Sunday night, Monday morning. We're still watching it, though. It's still a few days out. Then we clear out as we head toward Tuesday and Wednesday. But guys, next week it looks like we could see a pattern change. Winds will be coming out of the west. The jet stream will dip a little bit further to the south. And we're hopeful that that means a little bit better chance for getting some snowfall in here. We're just going to have to keep watching.
Do we need to do a snow dance up here? Because I'm willing to do just about anything at this point.
Come on. We want to see your move, Shauna.
44 degrees later next week?
Yeah, but that's ahead of our next storm next Thursday. It's still a long way out, but we're hopeful that it will happen.
Maybe I can get the grass cut again one more time.
Maybe. You never know with this winter that we've had.
All right, Lindsay.
Thanks, Linz. We'll be right back.
Hey, the Jazz going for 6 in a row tonight. It won't be easy. Tall order. Kobe and the Lakers in town tonight. Should be a huge game at Energy Solutions Arena. And of course, we've activated all the sports team staff. They're going to be giving us reports tonight about the game. Should be a great game tonight. Look for highlights later on tonight at 10.
Kite flyers from across the world have descended now on India. It's the 24th International Kite Festival, and it's underway right now. The festival has become popular, attracting expert kite makers and also flyers from 24 different countries this year. They'll be battling it out to outdo one another as they showcase their skills of flying kites. Hundreds of kite flyers of all ages participate as they fly kites of different colors and shapes from dawn till dusk. The festival began yesterday, and it continues through Saturday.
Yeah, remember, we used to fly kites as kids, you know, just the small little triangle ones, you know.
You didn't fly those kinds.
It took about, 30 seconds for the string to break and for the kite to end up in a tree, but other than that, those look pretty original, though.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to remind everybody, we did that story, that cute story about Cancer Barbie, bald, beautiful Cancer Barbie, and if you didn't have time to write down the link, which was a little bit time-consuming, I've put it on my Facebook page, and I've liked that link, and I'd like you to do so as well. So just go find Shauna Lake on Facebook.
CBS Evening News is next. We'll see you back here at 6.
Good night.